Ever heard of a killer? I drop bombs like Hiroshima.
So I said, look at LeakYou video. What the fuck is LeakYou? Is it like a site? What's LeakYou? LeakYou. Is it a YouTube channel? Oh shit. Oh, I bet. Here we go.
What's up, y'all? Because it's good. Because it's really good, actually. And I'm going to let it play. So deal with it. The music, right? Yeah.
Shout out to the LeakYou community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. I'm got to redo this. I got to redo this particular intro for real. I do. I got to redo this particular intro because it's actually a pretty good intro. But listen, I'm here to talk about, first off, what a fantastic live over there on Earth Files tonight. Really good live. And it's, I'm going to come back with like, a sort of like reaction video because it always makes my day when one of my questions gets, picked up and answered. And, shout out to the Earth File staff. Shout out to Linda Moulton Howe. Shout out to Ian, who moderates the YouTube chat. And he always takes the time to recognize people and recognizes, questions that I have. And one of the things that, how could I not possibly ask Linda Moulton Howe, the most expert in this field, one of the most top experts in this field, in my personal opinion, huge fan of hers, okay? And all of the work that she has done over the years. I've been familiar with her work for many, many years. And I, one of the questions I asked specifically is, what can us bloggers do to help pull the truth out, to help bring the rightful attention needed to this topic, okay? And it really comes down to, as she said, evidentiary pieces, things that can be proven if possible. Videos, photos, stories, those sorts of things. Fact-finding. Speaking to people in aerospace and in science, because there seems to be this affinity towards those who have either, done service or even have worked in top secret areas of various aerospace engineering companies. Now, I've told you guys before about the fact that I even have had some experiences, which is probably a big reason why I'm so interested in this topic. But I was having experiences I know as young as the age of about 9 years old. And I've had a couple of experiences. And in one of these experiences, one of the people that was experiencing it, hey Gino, one of the people that actually experienced a tear-shaped craft on its side, by the way, you would almost look at it as if it's a water drop. You could even look at my logo and get a pretty good understanding. When you look at my logo, you see I have water drops that fall from the words, from the letters. If we were to take any one of these water drops, let's take the one on the Y, one in the Y. It wasn't in a downward shape like that. It was on a sidewards angle. The fat side facing, you know, almost like west, right? Not north, not south, as if, the way gravity would carry a water drop here on Earth. It was on its side, and it looked like one piece of metal. And myself and this young lady were sitting on the bed one night. I was 12. She was also 12. She is still alive. I actually asked her about this a couple of years ago if she remembered. And she did. And there were some experiences that I had when I lived in that area. 3 experiences actually in total. One where, I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail here. I've never even really spoken on this. I've talked about the teardrop-shaped UFO, but there was an experience I had in which there was some marks on my leg at the same place where we seen this tear-shaped UFO on its side. But the experience that there's a living witness to right now, whose name is Danielle, who lives in California at this time. She and I were sitting at about midnight on the bottom of a bunk bed while her twin sister, was asleep at the top. And we were talking, we were up talking through the night. And I had an experience probably a week or two prior when this happened. And the one where I talked about the marks on my leg. We're sitting there one night, and where the bunk bed was, where we were at, we were just right out the window, just looking out the window, just talking at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. Then all of a sudden, this teardrop shaped UFO that was on its side with the fat part of the tear is almost like the front of the craft. It literally just lowered itself right there, probably 25 feet in front of us. And it took off. And it had no sound. I could also talk about experiences that I've had as a child where I felt like I probably up until like 5 or 6, like I could literally fly. I know that may not make sense to some of y'all, but for some reason, maybe even 7 or 8, up until maybe even 8 or 9 even. I don't know if it was my dreams or if it was me doing this. I always felt it was so real in all my life. I've always felt this. And I had seen a clip recently with a William Tompkins. He talked about his experiences with astral projection. And I don't know if that's what it was, but it was something that I could do when I was much younger that I can't do now. And I know that I was able to fly. Now, whether that was my consciousness doing this outside of my body via astral projection, I don't know. Maybe I would need to sit down with a hypnotist or something. I don't know. But needless to say, I want to tell you guys about some recent news that's coming out regarding a House Investigator, House of Representatives. First of all, it looks like we may get some hearings on from the House of Representatives, specifically in regards to, well, this would be an oversight committee that would investigate allegations that the United States is in possession of craft that are intact, fully or partially intact, that are of non-human origin. Which, frankly, these are the newest whistleblower allegations that really broke during the Contact in the Desert conference that happened. And I'm going to tell you now, I plan on being at the next big UFO conference. It's time for me. It's been time for me. And I plan on, I'm definitely going to be immersiating myself more into that world. And a lot of this stuff, you all, I will be continuing to talk about. It's almost becoming more than some of the true crime content that I talk about, or celebrity gossip, even, because to me, this is the most important topic in the world right now. And we're not talking temporary here. Now, a House investigator is warning that UFOs are beyond control in our military airspace. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee believes that unidentified flying objects need to be taken more seriously, and that both Congress and the public have a right to know about them. And we do. We have a right to know about all aspects of UFOs, UAPs, and any beings that may be making visits. In an interview with the Washington Examiner, Tim Burchett expressed concern that we, quote, have something that we do not control in our military airspace, end quote. Sean M. Kirkpatrick, the director of the Department of Defense's All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, And interestingly enough, in Ukraine, since the war began, um, there has been an increase in UFO activity daily. There are vloggers out here right now that are documenting active UFO and UAP cases that are happening on a daily basis in Ukraine right now. And we're talking sometimes these UFOs are sitting, stationary for hours upon hours upon it, hours. Is it because of the war, the bloodshed, this attachment to souls, this talk about attachment to souls? Um, you know, what is this? Is it a harvest of some kind? But this House investigator has warned us that UFOs are completely beyond the control of our military airspace, the United States of America. And then one must question, why do we have a space force? There's no way that we would implement a sixth branch of military. All the money has to fund it, the people. What are we defending in space? So for me, this is the most important topic in the world that I could ever be talking about. And although I know I can go live and throw a celebrity's name in the title and pull 100 people in, pull 1,000 people in, I've did it before. It's not the most important topic in this world right now. And so I'm going to be putting a lot of resources into this, pouring more of my resources into this. And I think it's probably going to be my primary thing moving forward. It doesn't make me a conspiracy theorist, guys. I feel like we're on the precipice of something so major that we can't even begin to understand it right now. And there are so many things that happen in this world, you all, that we just don't understand. Ever thought about why the Germans had so much advanced technology all the way back in World War II? Flying Foo Fighter craft? All the stories with Admiral Byrd and Antarctica. I, for one, would like to commend the UFO community, those that are involved who have been trying to do nothing but get the truth out. They're not trying to make a dollar off of it. Their only intention for doing a lot of their live streams or their videos or their vlogging articles or their blogging articles is simply to get the truth out. And I commend you. And I feel like the culmination of your work is coming. And I encourage you to keep on keeping on. But this House investigator and this potential oversight committee that's going to be called due to David Grush's whistleblower allegations that we have talked about here on the channel. As I said previously, David Grush came out on News Nation and talked about how the United States is in possession of craft of non-human origin. And with that comes the bodies of pilots. It's a big deal. There are so many stories of UFOs hovering over nuclear missile silos and completely disabling our nuclear warheads. Because us humans, we are our own enemies. And I feel like if we were to get our hands on a spaceship, which I believe that we already have, Matter of fact, again, shout out to Earth Files and Linda Moulton Howe over there. According to her reporting, we have been to approximately 28 different solar systems in the Milky Way here. 28 different places. We have 3 craft, long range spacecraft that travel using Alcubierre warp drive mechanics. Point to point. It's not you getting in like a car and traveling for the next 5 years to get, 1 light year in space somewhere to the next planet. No, there is portals and this Alcubierre warp drive technology where you can travel point to point in space in an instant. And that is technology that would be considered Holy Grail technology. I honestly believe that the real Holy Grail technology, to be honest, and I'm talking outside of craft and ships and things like that, I'm talking about the technology to transition one's soul from one vessel to another. The thought of the ability to have that, one would want to live forever. And that's why this technology has not shown its face so publicly yet, right? But very interesting to say the least. I feel like if human beings got their hands on, here's our problem, Gino. We're always trying to make things weapons. And I think that's an issue for some of these beings, these communities of beings. That whether they come from other planets, which I do believe there are beings that travel and come from other planets that are just more advanced than us. But I also believe a lot of what we see comes from right under our feet right here on Earth. There's so much that we don't know. Another interesting, piece of footage I was actually looking at was some footage, supposedly top secret, but it showed these structures on the moon. And, I thought that was quite interesting, something that I will be showing on the backup LeakYou channel. But on this channel, I'm going to really try hard to really focus on the evidentiary part of it. And so I really want to talk to people that have had experiences. Um, Anyone that has any information, video, photos. If you want to drop a tip, you can email me tips@LeakYou.com. You can hit me on the Discord, discord.gg/LeakYou, or just Google LeakYou Discord. You can always send a tip to me there in our contact channel. Our Discord is steady growing, and you are always welcome to leave a tip there as well. But tips@LeakYou.com. No judgments here, guys, at all. We want to know more about this. The more we know, the more knowledge we have, the more armed we can be, because I feel like our government is never going to tell us the truth. They're never going to tell us everything. I mean, for God's sakes, they're hiding the programs from Congress themselves. Even they don't know. The Arrow office doesn't even know about a lot of these programs that are happening that, as David Grush said, they haven't been read into. Thus, they don't know. You all, we are not alone. We are not alone. There are millions of Earths just like this, with different beings, types of beings that come in all colors, sizes, styles, so to speak. Teal blue beings, bluish pink beings, gray beings, pale white beings. The colors are just everywhere, all on the spectrum. And when you really think about the distraction of how racism rears its ugly head, really more so here in America, but in other countries around the world, people are so caught up on one's skin color. We all bleed the same. House Investigator again has said that the UFO topic, the UFO situation is completely out of US control. We have no control over the UFO issue or craft that are operating in our military airspace freely, openly, and almost putting on demonstrations at times. If you notice some of the videos that we see that will, find their way out on the internet, it's almost as if these beings are putting on a demonstration for human beings to see. Beautiful demonstrations. Our government is not being honest with us. And I think it's impossible for us to have the expectation that they ever will be. Anyway, I will be definitely keeping my eyes on this. If this oversight committee meeting really happens regarding the whistleblower allegations from David Grush, I will absolutely be covering that. And there's so much more to come when it comes to this topic. And I think it's time we try to revisit the family in Las Vegas just to kind of see where things are with that story as of this week as well. Because there's been some real mysterious things going on, guys. Anyway, sorry for the technical issues I had earlier. I appreciate each and every one of you for dropping through the stream. I'm going to go ahead and end it up pretty quick tonight. But I will be back tomorrow. And again, one of the other stories I want to talk about later on this week, and I've already scheduled the video, is not only the Ted Rice abduction, where his feet, amazingly, he ends up with 2 different shoe sizes after an alien abduction, but how the attempt to capture his soul in a black box. It's just a very interesting story to listen to, as well as the story of Dr. Jonathan Reed, the alien in the freezer. He was on the Art Bell show, and I think we're going to do a part 2 on that because it is just, again, a very interesting story. Is it true? Is it a hoax? Some say it is. But I'm not here necessarily to say that it is, because it is so fascinating. Beyond fascinating. You all, thank you for coming through. I will catch you all on the next video. Shout out to the LeakYou community. Please join us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music.
Please hit the like. Thank you.
It looks like you lost a number.